What's up, everybody? Red Dead Ocelot here, and today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed 2. It's definitely one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games of all time, but there are amongst others that fall into that category of my favorite games of the series. You have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is another one of mine, Assassin's Creed Origins, and I thoroughly enjoyed Assassin's Creed Syndicate. But anyways, today we are talking about Assassin's Creed 2. And now what I love about Assassin's Creed 2, it's not just because it's a critic acclaimed sequel to the original Assassin's Creed back from 2007, but what really made Assassin's Creed 2 stand out for me as a gamer and as a huge fan of this franchise, I felt like that Assassin's Creed 2 did a lot of things revamped when it comes to combat, swimming you were able to do, which you were not able to do back in the original in 2007, and everything. It's all much more diversified, and that's what I love about Assassin's Creed 2. So now, another thing I love about this game, though, too, is the fact that the exploration, to me, is a lot more, it's more sandboxy. It wasn't very much like that in the first one, but it's okay for that, because it was a very first game of the franchise or the series that we have become to know and love. So, what I thoroughly enjoyed about Assassin's Creed 2 more so, other than what I just previously stated, it was the fact that you played as Ezio Auditore da Firenze, excuse me. And, he's a young nobleman, of course. His father and his two brothers were basically hung for treason, and he is basically going on a revenge plot to assassinate each of the individuals that were part of that conspiracy of murdering his family, or part of his family. So, but I have to say one thing about this. I feel like it was a justification of a game, and it was a justification of Ezio's story. And Assassin's Creed 2, it was a very unique story because of what I just explained. So, what I love about Assassin's Creed 2 even more so, not just because of what I already have mentioned, it has to do with that it just did a lot of things more right from what the original one did. And I love Ezio. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like any of the other Assassin's Creed protagonists that we have been able to like or somewhat dislike. I do like Edward Kenway in Black Flag. I thought he was a good protagonist. I thought the Fry twins in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, they were really good too as well. I thoroughly enjoyed some very good protagonists within the Assassin's Creed franchise. But going back to AC2, I know I'm probably maybe going off a little bit of a tangent here, but I'm just doing as best as I can to maintain a good similar focus to this game in general. And another thing what I love about this game, not just of the combat, the story, and everything I just previously mentioned, it was the fact that there was some better implementation gameplay mechanics as well. You have throwing knives. You did have that in the first one. You had smoke bombs. They did not have smoke bombs in the first one as well. That's another gameplay mechanic that they really implied within this AC2. And I think that's what made it even more impressive in terms of that gameplay style. And so it was a lot of things that, that made this game even more influential amongst the Assassin's Creed fans, unlike me, of course. It just has to do with what the gameplay mechanics were going to be, either similar or maybe somewhat different from that of the original game to the whole entire franchise or series, as it were. So that's another thing. And so I think what AC2 did a lot of things right as well, not just of what everything that I've mentioned. It has to do with, I love its open world gameplay as well. I do like the structure of that. I do like the fact that they have assassination contracts. The assassination contracts were definitely a really good implementation to provide that more exploration type of thing. And you were able to, and with the assassination contracts, they gave you a good implementation of assassinating specific types of targets, so that way you can gain money not experience, but you can gain money from them, and and vice versa. I mean, they only open up to diversify the game to where it has to do with the mission structure as well. Like the story of the game itself. And it's like there are several locations within AC2. You have Tuscany, San Gimignano. You have Florence, which is part of Italy as well. You have I'm trying to remember Venice, which is part of Rome, as far as I know, or actually, I think it is part of Rome actually. But point being, there's a lot of different locations within AC2, and I'm going to tell you right now, the vistas in this game are by far one of the best vistas I have ever seen in a video game specifically. I love the vistas that they have incorporated within Assassin's Creed Origins or within Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag or any other Assassin's Creeds like Odyssey. I thoroughly enjoyed Odyssey, but I enjoyed Origins even more so than I did with Odyssey, but that's going to be in a separate video. I feel like any kind of video I make, no matter what game I play, whether if it's old school or new, I want to be able to have a certain type of implementation of how I can describe and put out some specific information I can in order to do so to make these videos correct. I guess maybe somewhat influential, I suppose. I don't know. But anyways, Assassin's Creed 2, I love its traversal. What I mean by that, I do like the fact that you can basically... Ezio is a lot faster than from what Altair Ibn Lahad was able to do. He was a little bit slower while traversing through, climbing walls and as such, but Ezio is a much more younger and agile protagonist within AC2, AC Brotherhood, and AC Revelations. I will be talking about those games at some point, but today I'm just talking about Assassin's Creed 2. I do, however, like the weapon and armor degradation that the game has. It has a little bit of a role-playing aspect within AC2, and I think that provides a really good type of maybe comfort, as it were, or it's not that really hard to manage because all you got to do is just go up to a blacksmith and basically repair your weapons or your gear. It's, like I said, it's not that hard. It will cost you, but there has something to... I believe it was in... when you visit your Uncle Mario for the first time, it's a Mario. I mean, I had to put that in there because it's but it's kind of like an Easter egg from the Mario franchise back in the day. So what I mean is, when you go to, Monteriggioni, there we go. There is a base to where you can implement to upgrade and buy certain types of part of the thing to upgrade the Monteriggioni villa, basically. And once you get that fully upgraded, you'll be able to get all the other a lot of things within, like your doctors to get your medicine. You can go to your the blacksmith to repair your armor or weapons. It's all going to be by purchasing those and repairing all the stuff that you have. That will be very much diminished in terms of price quality. So that's a good thing. So I highly do recommend doing that if you want to be going towards that sort of RPG-ish route. I do believe that's kind of like an RPG thing. So, but that's just my personal opinion or preference. So I think Assassin's Creed 2, it's, like I said, to me it feels like for me, it's definitely my number one, and I've explained the reasons why it's my number one, because it's not just because it's a direct sequel to the first one, but it's the fact that it's the swimming. The swimming is a much more it has a better advantage of disappearing after you do a certain assassination mission within the world of Assassin's Creed 2, and that provides just a better gameplay implementation or gameplay mechanic. So it's really good. Hence the reason why the smoke bombs come into play. The smoke bombs definitely play a good factor if you want to be that sneaky, obviously, assassin, which is hence the reason why the games are called Assassin's Creed. So yeah, I mean, all I can say is that I think Assassin's Creed 2 did a lot of things right in terms of not just its gameplay mechanics, but just, you know, you do have some revisiting weapons, you know, like your throwing knives. That's always a given because assassins use throwing knives. So overall, I think Assassin's Creed 2 it's an amazing game. To me, it's a masterpiece because I do like the fact that you can visit these assassins' tombs, and each assassin's tomb that you will be able to go through the world of AC2, you will be getting these assassin seals, and once you get all 6, you will be able to get Altair's armor from the first game, or supposedly. It's supposed to be the best. It's supposed to be the best gear in Assassin's Creed 2 for Ezio, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's one of the most badass assassin's robes I have ever seen in an Assassin's Creed game. Period. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like all the Assassin's Creed robes or armor or whatever it is in the Creed games, but other than that, I just think that it's so fly. It's not flashy, it's not dull, it has a perfect balance of just to say to yourself, oh my god, this armor just looks amazing. It's awesome. So I highly do advise getting that as well. But in turn, I think that if you really want to get into an Assassin's Creed games for anybody that are new to the franchise or have not played this series at all, by all means, I believe you don't have to play the Assassin's Creed. You don't have to play the first one in order to get into the Assassin's Creed 2. But those stories between the first one and the Ezio trilogy do in fact intertwine, because in Revelations, Assassin's Creed Revelations, you do have a ghost of Altair that you follow in the beginning of the game, but you actually end up following Altair somewhat throughout the entire game of Revelations, because he is part of the Assassin's Creed universe. He is part of that descendant, as it were, to who you play as in each Assassin's Creed game. So I thought I'd put that knowledge in there as well. So I think, in turn, I will be talking about, you know, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, maybe Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But before I do those two, I will be talking about Assassin's Creed Origins, because that's going to be the next game on my list. Hopefully we can be able to understand why I think that's why that game is another game on my list of my top favorite Assassin's Creed games, and then we'll go forth from there. So as you recently saw, while Ezio picked up that assassin seal or whatever it was, that's where you will be able to obtain those seals from. They are the descendants of previous assassins through different types of games, I suppose. I don't know. Really can't say as much on that. But Assassin's Creed 2 does maintain it has good quality. I mean, it has I would have to say the Assassin's Creed, especially for the Ezio trilogy, has aged a little bit, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, it's been a good number of years ever since these games released, but they did eventually make a remastered edition, collector's edition of the Ezio trilogy for the PlayStation 4 and for the Xbox One and for PC, if that's correct. So, but anyways, I thought I'd just put that out there. So, but if you have any kind of comments or questions you might have, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to respond back whenever possible. This is Red Dead Ocelot here. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Please leave a like, comment, put that notification bell on, subscribe, and peace.